Hey, happy Wednesday. There's not a lot to talk about. We did an entire Masters preview yesterday with Andy Lang. You guys can head over to the Wagertalk YouTube channel and check that one out. So we're going to talk about baseball. Hakeem Prophet says, hey, he's not doing much with NBA until, well, of course, the playoffs start. And I don't blame him. It has been interesting, needless to say, when grown men say they have headaches. And that's why they're not going to play 17 minutes before a game. I digress. Adam Trigger is joining us tonight. We are going to talk some Major League Baseball. You guys know the drill. You're going to jump in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. And Adam's going to answer all your questions. I'm going to sit back and relax. We know I'm not a baseball handicapper, so I'm just going to moderate a little bit. And mentally, let's just be real. I'm already at dinner 45 minutes from now with Ralph Michaels sitting on the beach. me, Ralph, my mom, going to go enjoy some oysters and maybe an adult beverage or two. We're going to see. I don't know if I've fully recovered from Boston yet, Adam Trigger, but I'm going to give it a go.
So I love seafood, but I hate oysters. Is that weird? Is that or is that like something that's normal? I think oysters are disgusting, but I love seafood.
Oysters are very good for you, high in selenium. They boost your testosterone levels. I'll let the jokes write themselves for that one. Adam, I adore you. You are a baseball extraordinaire. You're doing minor league baseball, KBO, and MLB all at the same time. Been giving out a ton of stuff on your page for free at Top Flight Sports SI over on Twitter. A-Trig. Are we using A-Trig or are we using a different one for Instagram?
That's something I have. So we'll use A-Trig 15. I think that's what it is. I need to get rid of one of them. I have two Instagrams. I use neither. I'm just not like I live on Twitter, so I probably should pick which one I'm going to use. But I guess A-Trig 15 is the one I'm on more. So we'll go with that one.
Yeah, if I could just get you guys to post everything you post on Twitter, on Instagram, life would be good, and I would not have to bitch and complain at you guys on a regular basis. Shout out to the chat. If you guys have a question regarding KBO, minor league baseball, or Major League Baseball, Adam Trigger is going to answer your questions. Adam, no questions from the chat yet, so we're just going to get right into it. Let me get my betting account open so I can actually see who the hell is playing tonight, because we all know, again, why would I try to handicap the sport when I have guys like you and Dave Koken to help me out? The first pitch, 6:40 here on the East Coast. Cubs, Padres. Padres, a minus 140-ish favorite on the Wagertalk odds screen. Total sit at 8, juice to the over, minus 120.
Yeah, so I've pretty much come on Wagertalk programming since before the season started and talked about how high I am on this Cubs team. With that being said, this matchup didn't give me like the warmest, fuzziest feeling in terms of wanting to back the Cubs. And I'm pretty much at this point not going to go against them because they're kind of the team that I'm the highest on this year, Kelly, in relation to what the market says they are. So I think the Cubs could be in the World Series this year. I think that's the ceiling for them, is to contend in the NL and potentially get to the World Series, contend for a championship. This was a team that I believe was like 2-1 just to win their division prior to the start of the season. Kind of priced, competitively with St. Louis. And then you had the Reds in that division at like plus 350. And I think Milwaukee like 6-1. So, that's why I'm so, when I say I'm high on them, I'm high on the Cubs in relation to where they are in the market. And so I don't think I'll ever get the right price going against them. So in this one, since I don't really want to back Kyle Hendricks here, he's kind of the one guy in the rotation right now. He's a veteran, overall big picture here. He's good for the team right now because he can go out. He's a veteran. He's going to eat some innings up. They have far better pitchers in the minors right now at AAA and even at AA that will likely end up in these rotation spots. But it's April, Kel, it's an 162 game season. You don't need to win. A lot of times it's more managing your team for your team to be optimal come September than it is, going balls out in April when it comes to baseball. So I think that's why a guy like Hendricks is in this rotation right now. And he's not exactly a guy that I'm dying to back. Like even in his most recent start, He started off okay, went off the rails, 8 hits, 5 runs to the Dodgers, got lit up by the Rangers. So I think I lean toward the over here because I do think this Cubs offense is undervalued, and I think that they could get something off of Cease, particularly maybe a home run or two. That's something that Dylan Cease, is a little bit prone to is the long ball. And so, in a game like this where you have a pitcher like Cease and the total, I just want to make sure I quote it correctly. I think it's 8.
8 minus 120, yeah.
Yeah, so 8 minus 120 or 8.5. I'd certainly prefer 8. But 8.5 is sort of playable, and it's fine because of course you get to 4-4 and it's going to go over anyway. So 8, I don't mind the 8.5 as much. I would take a shot at the over. I think you're going to probably see runs in this game. Only thing I could possibly consider, because I don't want to fade the Cubs and I'm not laying minus 145 to play the Padres. So over or pass.
Yeah, the chat box is dropping some Moneyline parlays, and they like the Padres. But Trig, let's talk about this same Moneyline parlay concept in baseball and why I don't subscribe to it in any sports. I've seen some people be successful in an NHL, but I just do not like it in Major League Baseball. I feel like with 162 games, there is so much variance, right? There is just such a large sample size that laying a significant amount on the money line, especially non-correlated parlays, let's just say the one that got dropped here on YouTube, Guardians, Yankees, Padres, Rangers, all money lines. I don't know. That's tough. I mean, granted, if he doesn't parlay him and he goes 3-1, it's a profitable day. You go 2-2, though, it's going to hurt a little bit.
So for the Moneyline Parlay people, when it comes to baseball, there is a place for it, and there's a time for you guys, but it's not in April in the second week of the season. Here's like the point I'll make. If you want to fire these like 2 or 3 team Moneyline Parlays with close to $3 favorites, and you wait until like August to do it, you'll probably be profitable because I'll just give an example, right? Like you've got the Guardians right now. They're a minus 270 favorite against the White Sox. This White Sox team come August might be most of their AAA roster. Right now, there's still big leaguers out on the field. Like I don't think you want to lay 3-1. I get like just because the White Sox are a bad team and they're going to be bad long term. Like right now, they're not bad enough, in my opinion, where you should be trying to make a case for Tanner Bybee minus $3, especially against Eric Fed, who was fantastic in Korea last year. So I'll talk about Fed for a second. Like he's not a pitcher I really want to like fade. I think he's very undervalued. He's been pretty undervalued so far in his first 2 starts. I think he's covered the run line in both of them. I know he did in one of them. 2.79 ERA so far, 11 strikeouts to just 3 walks. The reason I think he's undervalued, though, is not for the fact that he just completely dominated the KBO last year. But if you go back to the previous season when he was with the Nationals, he actually was throwing the ball pretty good until he tried to pitch hurt. And, he kind of like, it's tough. Like, a guy like him, he was in the rotation pitching every 5th day. That was probably a really big opportunity for someone like Eric Fed at this point in his career. And he tried to pitch through an injury and made it worse and ultimately ended up getting blown up in like 4 or 5 starts before he finally came out and was like, hey, I'm hurt, and shut it down for the year. He was awesome last year, and he's come back and he's been able to sort of build on that, in my opinion, like through his first 2 starts. He's got 9 innings, almost 10 innings. So 9 2/3, 11 strikeouts. The stuff looks good. So for me, minus 270 is not like, and this is a Guardians team that I looked yesterday. I think they're down 7 pitchers right now, Kelly, like between their starting rotation and their bullpen. I think they're without 6 or 7 that would be on the roster if they were healthy. So think about that. Like, it might not, like Bybee's pretty good, but think of the trickle down effect that has on a team. And, they're 8-3, but the schedule's been manageable. White Sox were the better team yesterday. I would, I just wouldn't put that. It's just minus $3. It seems like a little bit much there. And then as far as the other one's concerned, like, I'm not dying to bet against the Marlins right now because I think they've played about as poorly as they could play. And so, do you want to come in now and play against a 1-11 Marlins team that was a playoff team last year. I don't think they're a playoff team this year. I never thought they were. But the point is, like, they've just had what could be their worst stretch of the season, right? Like, if you took 1-11 and stuck it in July for a team that's like maybe 6-7 games under 500, it doesn't show up as much. Right now, it looks awful. So right now, the Marlins they're priced like, as if they're a total bottom team. And that's where I disagree a little bit. I think the Marlins are probably still like a 70 win team, but they're being priced like a team that's going to lose 100 games right now. So if anything, I'd be more inclined to take the plus 1.5 with the Marlins. I think there's reasons for me. I have reasons to think that Stroman might be a fade in the upcoming weeks. So I would take the extra at that and take the plus 1.5 before I laid the $2 with the Yankees.
Oh boy, here's a 1.5 chosen one on YouTube. Yeah, regular viewer. This is totally an Adam Trigger play, and this, you know how I know, because it makes my stomach like just a little, like it doesn't feel very good. And as somebody who doesn't follow baseball, I can tell you this is one of the worst teams in the league. The Athletics plus 1.5 chosen one wants to know your thoughts. Since you just mentioned the 1.5, I thought this was a good segue.
Well, the A's on the run line has been the best bet in baseball lately. They have now covered 6 in a row on the plus 1.5. They're on a 3-game win streak, but the 3 games prior to that, they lost by 1. And it's been playable every single time. So, we talk about the plus 1.5 in baseball, but there's context that needs to be attached to that, because every single spread in baseball is plus 1.5. So, if you were plus 1.5 but minus 180, it's not necessarily profitable, right? Like long term, those are going to catch up with you. On this run, the A's have been plus 1.5, and it's been a playable number similar to what it is tonight. I think it's maybe minus 120 the entire time. Now, with that being said, I'm not a huge Ross Stripling guy. Like, I think you're maybe late to the party in terms of like betting on the A's. It's not a play that I would want to get involved with tonight. Just because the A's are still the A's. They're still going to lose a lot of games this year. They've won 3 in a row. I mean, their youngsters are playing well, and they, deserve some credit for that. But this is still a 4-7 team that's probably going to flirt with 100 losses at some point. So I don't think I could back the A's to win 4 straight games. And I think when they do lose, because they have been winning 4-3, 4-0, they've been in close games. They're starting to tax their bullpen. I think when they do lose, it could be big. So I would stay away from the A's tonight. Just not the best setup there.
All right, let's hit a couple first 5. H-Train on YouTube wants to know some thoughts on the Red Sox first 5 as well as the Royals first 5.
All right, so I have a bigger opinion on the latter. So I'll just throw out like Red Sox first 5. I lean Red Sox, and for no reason other than I'd prefer Cutter Crawford over Cole Irvin. And I still think the Orioles are a slightly overvalued commodity based on the fact that they have been pretty much the most profitable team in Major League Baseball 2 years prior coming into the season. So I think, the amount of like positive regression, the amount of like just, overachieving the Orioles did for 2 straight years, I think is going to, make them a slight fade this year based on where they can, get priced in the market. But again, they're a very good young baseball team. So teams like that tend to, sometimes the books don't know what the ceiling is for a team like the Orioles with a bunch of young studs who just called up Jackson Holiday. So like they can be a tough team to price, and I'm not sure I really want to like step in front of that. But the lean there for me would be the Red Sox. The stronger of the two, and the game that I came close to playing tonight was the Royals. I actually think Royals plus 1.5, or I'm sorry, I think Royals first 5 plus money or plus a half, and maybe laying whatever that number is, plus a half minus whatever, might be like minus 130 or something, is the better bet of those. The reason for that, the Astros are really banged up in the pitching department, and they called Spencer Arrighetti up from AAA to make the start tonight just to give their starting pitching a little bit of a break. So I don't think this was a call-up where he's going to stay on the team, maybe if he pitches well, but I think this is more a call-up to make a start, give the starting rotation a breather. Remember, like Valdez just went on the IL. Verlander's been on the IL. Multiple guys. I think there's 5 pitchers that are on the injured list for the Astros, and it's taken its toll. The Astros bullpen is one of the worst in the American League right now. So in one respect, you might want the whole 9 innings to get the benefit of the Royals, but in the other one, you may want and to make the argument for first 5, you may want to target a fade of Arrighetti, who is a guy that I've watched now for over a year at the AAA level, and what I've seen with him is he's got some decent strikeout stuff, but he walks, his command is not great. A lot of walks. I believe he already has 7 walks in 8 innings at AAA so far this year. And my theory with him is that the Royals are probably not going to chase like the AAA guys have so far this year. So if you go back to his 2 AAA starts, he's kind of gotten out of trouble with the strikeout. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that against a big league lineup. So there could be some swing and miss here for the Royals, but my guess is, this is a good Royals lineup. This is a Royals team that in my opinion, is far better than they were last year. I think their lineup is very underrated as a whole. So I don't mind the Royals here. I lean their way to win this game, and I would not mind you targeting Royals first 5, either plus whatever the plus money is or the plus a half. I think the Royals are a decent bet tonight.
Yeah, we've touched on quite a few of the games already tonight. If you guys do have a question for Trig, drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to dinner early. I'm just going to say that right now. Adam Trigger, anything that you haven't got to mention yet?
I guess I'll touch on the one game quick that we haven't touched on. I leaned toward the Reds. So that's the only one we didn't touch on. The Reds play the Brewers. It was just a slightly outside of my price range of what I want to sort of lay this year in baseball. I didn't, let me just see here. I might've been looking at the wrong day as far as, there we go. All right. Yeah. I was going to say I would have taken plus 105, but Reds at minus 135 was a little bit out of my price range. However, I really like this Reds team. They're up against Wade Miley tonight, who was okay in a rehab start in Nashville last week. I still think, I still think I'd roll with Hunter Green there over Miley, and I just like the Reds better than the Brewers. I still think the Brewers are, they had such a good season last year against the Reds that I think that's a little bit overbaked into the numbers. So didn't really want to lay minus 135, but lean toward the Reds. And Kelly, the only play I have up right now, baseball-wise, goes at 5:30 in the morning. It's in Korea, an angle I really like in KBO, and it's on my page, and it's only $9 because for whatever reason, we only charge $9 for the KBO place. So it's a 4%er, and you get it at a nice discount.
I think my dogs are notifying me that Ralph Michaels just got here to pick me up. I think that does go without saying that we should only charge $9 for KBO because not everybody can bet it. Not everybody can buy it.
That is wrong. That's false. It is so. And let me just tell you, you should be able to get down on KBO now. Every big legal book offers pretty much anything you want on KBO. The thing that's tough to get down on is minor league baseball, and that's why I'm going to tweet that out for free all year. So it'll probably be the most profitable of the 3. In my opinion, it's the most beatable.
Sounds about right.
So
when you give it away for free, that's exactly what's going to happen.
But Kelly, minor league baseball is really tough to find. You have to find good offshores. Only some states are offering it legal. So minor league baseball can be very difficult to get down on. But if you can find books to do it, because I can guarantee you over the course of the season we'll make money betting AAA. That is going to be free on my page. But Korea is a very beatable market, but all the books offer it now. John Murray's offering it at the Westgate. All the books offer it, and they'll take a couple dimes each. So no one should have an issue getting down on
dimes.
KBO.
Whoa, we can get 2 dimes down on. Where was that during COVID when I could get down $200 on KBO?
Most of Caesars, FanDuel, they vary, but they will take at a minimum of a dime most of the places on KBO. And I think the Westgate will too. So a lot of the Vegas books that offer it have pretty standard baseball limits on it. So should not have a tough time getting down on Korean baseball.
Love that. Adam Trigger, again, Top Flight SI over on Twitter. Don't forget, guys, I have a Masters pool. You got about 13 and a half hours left to sign up. Splashsports.com/Kelly in Vegas. $50 entry, $50,000 in prizes. Let's see. I got 4 lineups, 1 with Pam, 2 for myself, and 1 with Andy Lang. Again, if you guys want to see that Masters preview with Andy, it is up on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Game time picks with KIV from April 9th. Hope you guys have a profitable night tonight on either the hardwood, the ice, or the diamond. Thank you to Adam Trigger once again. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Carmine Bianco is going to join us while we wrap up the regular season of NHL.